Good morning and welcome to Woodland Fitness. So, here in Idaho, the weather's gotten up to a nice warm 86 degrees, which means that yesterday, when I spent 6 hours outside playing soccer, I got a great sunburn. It actually isn't too bad. It's just enough to remind me that I should have put on just a little bit more sunscreen. But I did learn this year, and when I realized I was going to be outside all day, I did put on a decent amount of sunscreen. I just missed a couple spots and got sunburned anyway. Could have been worse though. I was out there for a while and it was hot. And on that same note, I'm pretty sure that yesterday was the day that Bogus was doing their pond skimming. So while it was 86 degrees outside, our local ski resort was still open. It blows my mind. It's been such a weather weird weather here in Idaho. Anyway, that aside, this week has been. I'm trying to think if there's anything eventful that I haven't mentioned in previous podcasts. Not really. Now that I've moved into my new place and I've been working pretty consistently, nothing really new happens or nothing completely out of the ordinary. Anyway, so I'll get on to today's topic. Earlier we talked about macronutrients, which really is one of the bigger things that's talked about when it comes to nutrition in the fitness industry. It's something that is used to determine all different kinds of diets and is a very popular topic. A lesser popular topic, one that doesn't get talked about nearly as much. I've seen a couple of people talk about it, so I won't say that nobody talks about it at all. It's micronutrients, which is just as important for our hormones, for our health, and it's something that we can only get through food. It's kind of like when we talked about essential fatty acids or essential amino acids. Those two things are things that our body can't produce, so we have to get it from food. And our micronutrients are the same way. Now, our micronutrients there's a list of about 20 essential micronutrients, and those include the vitamins and minerals that we need. Now, there are so many things that can be seen as symptoms of deficiencies in those micronutrients. One of the best ways that we can make sure that we aren't deficient in our micronutrients is eat whole foods regularly, make sure that we eat different types of vegetables and fruits, and that we cook them different ways because they're different. The way that we cook them affects what nutrients are bioavailable for our bodies. Some of these vitamins you probably know pretty well: vitamin D, B12, vitamin C. Yeah, that's all I can remember off the top of my head. I have looked at that list so many times, and I couldn't sit and memorize it if I wanted to, because I forget most of the things that's on it. Some of the minerals are a little more common: magnesium, potassium, sodium. Those are things that our body needs to continue functioning properly. And deficiencies in these can affect your sleep, can affect even your mood throughout the day. So something that I recommend and something that I need to get done personally is getting blood work done to see if you have any deficiencies in these micronutrients. And let's say you're at peak health, you feel like everything's a-okay, then honestly it would be a good idea to get blood work done just to see what your normal levels are, because there's the blanket doctor recommended normal levels, but then beyond that there are the levels that are acceptable for you as an individual. Those can vary drastically. For instance, this is an easy one. mostly because the range itself is so large, but the normal levels for testosterone are 300 nano. Sorry, I forget the measurement that they use for testosterone because I've seen a few different ones. But the range is from 300 to 900. That is considered normal range, and anything in between that, you are considered within normal range. However, you might feel like absolute garbage on that 300 end. You might also feel like absolute garbage on the 900 end, and maybe your personal normal is more like between 400 and 550. But the only way you could know that for sure is when you are feeling your absolute best, when you feel like your health is at its peak, getting work done to see what your normal levels are. That's really important so that when you look at it in the future, so when you do get blood work done in the future, you can look and you can see, I may still be in normal levels, but I'm a lot lower than I was when I got this done 5 years ago, 2 years ago, whenever that was, because that can drastically affect your personal health. I think micronutrients is a missed topic because there's not really something you can sell to help people regularly hit their micronutrient targets. You have stuff like multivitamins, but honestly, there's so many multivitamins on the market, and for the most part, they may or may not work, and they aren't going to get you up to regular levels if you are deficient in something. Now, I don't recommend supplementing with random vitamins and minerals if you haven't gotten any blood work done, because there's also the side of having too much of these micronutrients, and you can get some pretty bad side effects from that too. It's just like with almost anything, there's such thing as too much and too little, and too much is just as bad for you as too little. So you want to make sure that you get blood work done, work with a doctor, figure out what you're deficient in, and then go with a supplement plan from there. But preferably, if you're eating enough whole foods, then you shouldn't have too many deficiencies. It should just be one or two that you're missing. And that's an easy fix. Honestly, one of the ways that you could go about it instead of going the supplement route is figure out what foods are high in those micronutrients that you're low in and adding more of those to your diet. There are a lot of foods that are very micronutrient dense and also very good for you. And on top of that, they taste good. So that has always benefit. Trying to think. I always hate when I start going down one trail and then I just totally miss what else I was going to say. Oh well. Anyway, in the end, micronutrients aren't like the glamorous side of fitness, and sometimes the effects may be small, but an improvement in your sleep, improvement in your mood, and improvement in your general health makes a big difference in the long run, especially sleep. We talk about recovery a lot, but the best tool that you can have for recovery is good sleep. If you're deficient in some of those micronutrients, it can really affect your sleep. So, I won't make this a challenge because this is something that you should work with a doctor on, but my recommendation for you this week is to go get some work done. See what you're deficient in, see where you need to start supplementing, or maybe if there's a whole food option that you can put into your current diet that will help you get to normal levels. And let's all find our normal health levels together. Have a great week.